everyone, you are welcome to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I am going to be telling us on how to write a good beginning scene in your novel writing that will make your editors and readers want more of your writing. Okay, so without wasting much of your time, let's ask ourselves what a good beginning is. A good beginning in novel writing simply means an opening that grabs your reader's attention and keeps them wanting to read more. If you start your story in a boring way, most editors won't have the time to read your book because they have a lot of books to review. So if your story started in a very boring way, I don't think your story is going to get you a contract. So that's why it's better for you to sit back there and watch me show you four to five features that makes your story to be engaging and interesting. Okay, the first thing that will make your story, the beginning of your story, to be what? Interesting and engaging. Okay, let's look at five of them. We have the first on my list is immediate engagement, introduction of the main character, establishment of setting, intriguing conflict or problem, tone and mood. Okay, you know, the beginning of a story, also known as the opening or the hook, is crucial because it sets the tone for entire narrative and it's what draws your reader in. Okay, if you don't have a good beginning, I don't think anybody will want to read your story. If your story is boring, try to read some story that is boring to know if you are going to enjoy reading them. That's how it looks like. Okay, so without wasting much of your time, let's begin. What does an immediate engagement means? The story begins in a way that arouses the reader's curiosity. Immediate engagement. The curiosity of your reader is going to be aroused because of what? Your opening is an immediate engagement. We are going to be looking at it in three categories. We have the intriguing situation, a procreative statement, or a captivating image. Okay, so looking at the intriguing situation, for example, we are going to be doing this example from a known book. Okay, from known books or viral books out there. Okay, before then, this write-up came from an editor in one of the big sites that we work with. Okay, the first example here is what? An intriguing situation. So let's look at the example we have. River was shocked. She looked at Hector and Victoria incredulously. On her 18th birthday, River smelled her mate as soon as she entered her school. The mouth-watering smell of her mate made her run in the direction of the main ground of the school. Excited, she opened the door and realized that her mate was none other than Hector, son of Alpha Maximin. Standing in the middle of the school ground, he looked gorgeous. She was attracted to him like Icarus to the sun. She started to walk towards him when suddenly she saw that Hector's arms were wrapped around Victoria's waist as he glowered at her with furious brows and clenched teeth, warning her to come any closer. Upon seeing her coming closer, Victoria swept her dark hair on the other side, pressed her hand on his chest, and strategically upturned her neck for him. River halted in her tracks, her stomach getting twisted in knots. All the students had their eyes on Hector and Victoria. Anticipation rippled in the air. After a few seconds of glaring at her, Hector turned to Victoria and snapped his teeth in her neck, marking her as his mate. This is a very intriguing situation from the beginning to the end. I don't want to go to details in this. I don't want to analyze it in details because I don't want this video to be long. Example 2, provocative statement. That is statement that causes anger. So let's look at the example from Alpha Alexander. I hissed as he pulled out of me. The feeling of being empty, somewhat being foreign, despite the discomfort that I felt during the experience. My body was somehow sore. However, this was nevertheless one of the most beautiful nights of my life. The way he held me in his arms, cradled and kissed me. Everything just kept playing in my head as I watched him get out of the bed. Why didn't you mark me? I asked, frowning in confusion. He wouldn't even let me mark him, and instead, he chose to take control of the whole night. Not that I minded, I was just confused by his action because I never planned to, he answered coldly. I'm having this feeling of going into details, but I don't want to go to details. So I want you to learn from this particular beginning, good beginnings from known writers. Okay, if you can use this particular format to write your own, believe you me, you are going to get that contrast. So looking at the example three, captivating image, reading through what I have on your screen now, you will see that you are going to be visualizing that in your brain on what happened in this alpha's forbidden slave mates, the beginning. Okay, so I will not be reading it out because I can't read it out now. Okay, so the second feature is what? The introduction of the main character. The protagonist is often introduced earlier on, giving the reader someone to connect with. Okay, if you are starting a story, you can introduce the main character from it. Okay, almost all the chapters introduce the main character, all the first chapter. So but in a way you present it, this one is for you to help your reader to predict their personality or to predict their predicament. Okay, so starting off with a good introduction of the main character using their situation or personality to start off, it is a very good beginning. Okay, so let's look at the example we have here from Rejected Mate, the Alpha Secret Luna. We have a bastard pup. That's all I was. That's all I would ever be. He gave me the gift of life, but his gift had not been without cruelty. He made sure of it. I was allowed to breathe, along with my mother, had been shunned. Throughout the whole life, we were labeled outcasts. With this now, you know that the person is a slave or an outline, an outcast. Okay, so let's be going. Okay, so that this video is not going to be long. So we have the establishment of setting, where the thing is taking place, the time, the place, the cultural content of your story is going to make your reader or your editor to be immersed in the world of your story. Okay, so let's look at the example we have here from Possessive CEO Daddy. Iris stared in disbelief, her hands clenched rightly as she observed the birthday surprise her father, the county commissioner of the Poconos, claimed to have arranged for her. At her 25th birthday, 8 middle-aged pot-bellied men stood before her, their smirks oozing with desire in full view of all the guests. Their hungry gazes seemed to strip her bare as she stood there dumbfounded amidst the applause. She couldn't formulate what her father was thinking. Dad, what on earth do you think you are doing? Venom and disappointment dripped from her voice. Iris, these men come from esteemed political and business backgrounds. Just close your eyes and pick one. You are not getting any younger, her father said. His eyes filled with concern, but Iris was utterly devastated. Okay? This is introduction of the background setting of your story. Then we have the fourth features to be intriguing conflict or problem. Okay, if you can introduce the main conflict of your story at the beginning, it is also a superb way of beginning a story. So let's look at a gift from the goddess. Okay, it looks like everyone is here now, Arik said, projecting into the crowd. We are gathered here today to bear witness to the trial of Ariden Chesseles, former Luna to the Winter Meat Park. His eyes scanned over the faces of everyone around before finally landed on me. Do you swear on the goddess name, Aridin, that you will tell the whole truth during this trial? Arik asked. I met his piercing green eyes, a shiver going down my spine. How those eyes haunted me. I do, I replied loudly and confidently. And how do you plead? I held my breath, my heart racing in my chest. Not guilty. You see, this is a what? Intriguing conflict or problem. If you are starting off with a conflict, people will be like, let's look at what is our offense. What did she do? You get? So all these things are better way of starting off a story that make it a good beginning. Okay, so the fifth one is the tone and the mood of the characters, the tone, the way they sound, their mood, are they sad, are they angry, are they sweet, are they blah blah blah. Okay, so the beginning said the tone and mood of the story. Example: serious, humorous, mysterious, romantic, sad, blah blah blah, etc. Okay. Example, we have the sound of a clock was the only thing heard in a white dressing room. Tinsley looked at the mirror motionlessly and saw a beautiful young lady in an expensive white wedding dress stared back at her. The young lady's lips were quivering and tears began to pool in her eyes, but not wanting to ruin her wedding makeup. Tinsley picked up a handkerchief and used it to clean the trace gently and quickly. A pathetic smile hung on Tinsley's lips, and so she reached out a hand to, but before she could touch the mirror, it's time for the bride to appear. Lily, are you done? Someone asked, which made Tinsley quickly dump the veil on her head and fix it back. The door was suddenly unlocked from outside, which made Tinsley raise her head. Her mom, Mrs. Williams, figured appeared to her through the mirror, which made Tinsley's eyes dreading more. Tinsley, Mrs. Williams called. Remember not to alert Conrad. Just do it for us and your elder sister, Mrs. Williams said, but there was no trace of sadness or remorse on her face, which made the pathetic smile on Tinsley's eyes grow wider. Okay, all these things, looking at it, you see that it is going to make the reader to want more, to seek of more what is going to happen in these stories. Okay, so starting off your story in a good note is very, very important in story writing. If you are dreaming to have contracts, if you want to get contract, start your stories in a good note. Okay, I believe you have learned so much from this my video. If you have not learned, go back and learn again. If you want a private course on how to write well and a full-time mentorship on how to get contract, you can DM me. Okay, until then, see you in my next video. Bye bye.